Welcome to Community Insight. I am your host, Reverend Dr. Coles. Community Insight bringing resource to our community and all towards the eastern part of information to help you. Today we have another special guest, and I'm honored to have him here with us today, Bishop James McNeil. Not McNeil. I got it correct? McIntyre. I got McNeil in my mind. I had a meeting with him recently. Right. Bishop, welcome to the broadcast, and I know, Bishop, there's a lot of stuff you're doing, and when I go down to your neighborhood, your area, you involved in so much and continue helping, and to me it's an honor to be sitting in your presence on the things you're doing. You've been doing a lot longer than I have. I only been here 16 years. You've been in this thing longer, and my goodness, you can write a couple of books and bring a movie on. So, Bishop, welcome, and please tell us what you do, and we just want to hear from you. And we know you are the pastor, senior pastor of Cornerstone Church here in Washington, Little Washington.
Well, Dr. Cole, thank you for the opportunity, first of all. It's not always that we have an opportunity to be able to share some of the initiatives that the Lord had put into our heart to do for the people that He allowed us to be able to serve. And I have not been in it as long as you think I have, honestly. My wife and I, Lisa, we married 39 years this year.
To God be the glory.
God's been so good to us. But we are transplants also. We came from Cumberland County, right here in the state, but Fayetteville area, 19 years ago. As a matter of fact, February was our 19th pastoral anniversary at the Cornerstone Church there in Washington, which we call Cornerstone Family Worship Center. The Lord have been so good to us in the past 19 years. And a part of the vision that the Lord gave me when I came to Beaufort County, to Washington specifically, was that He said to me, you will not only just pastor a church, but you'll pastor a community. I didn't understand what that meant at the time, but over the past now, I suppose, probably 15 of those years, we have been instrumental in transitioning a lot of the things that we do within the four walls, outside the four walls, which we call the marketplace, which really that's where ministry take place at, in the marketplace. And we do a lot of community services there for the citizens of Washington, Beaufort County, and then some surrounding areas also. We do have some people from Pitt County, where you live, that kind of migrate cross county lines back and forth. And so we have been blessed, again, to be able to provide those services. So again, I'm honored. You're honored, but honestly, I'm the one honored to have the opportunity to be able to share. You do, you do a lot, not just in Pitt County, but this whole region. You are known for all of the services you provide, and we have been a benefactor of that in Washington.
Wow.
You've allowed us to be able to receive some of the resources that you receive, especially in the area of disaster recovery and disaster relief. And so I want to thank you personally for your contribution to this whole region and what the Lord have allowed you to be able to do to provide for the citizens that we serve.
Thank you, Bishop. But Bishop, you like I said, you got 3 more years on me, Bishop. 3 more years. That means you're older than I am in this thing. And knowing from the North Carolina, it was a lot of we bump into a lot of challenges and trying to make the connection with the people. And we get, and I'm quite sure if I've been through it, I know you've been through it, working with people and trying to understand these are the needs for the community. And I love how you said that pastoral tells the community. Reverend Bob Hudak, a good friend, brother of mine as well, always say, man, you like the community pastor all the time. Or Jesus of the community, he calls me, like walk out there. But y'all guys do so much there. I mean, you sit on a lot of boards, and man, you bring a lot of influence to everyone in that community. I mean, to Vyden. I mean, we can talk a long time here in what you do, but I just want to share with some of the things you do at Cornerstone Family Center, which you guys do over there in the heart. When the disaster started, Bishop, I called you. You said, "Come on down, and you're doing all. Let's have a seat. We got you covered." And the hospitality there, and then how they never been there, past that place, man, so many times on 264, never. But just the hospitality there, and y'all guys do a lot of things with the children and youth. And we need to rub some of that stuff off for some of us. And I know there's other things you do, but I'm going to stop there real quick. I know you got some of the things you guys do at Cornerstone so people can know what you do, which in my neighborhood.
Okay. Well, We are, as a church, I firmly believe again that ministry don't just happen in the four walls. Ministry happens out in the marketplace. I mean, that's what Jesus was all about, marketplace ministry. And sometimes we can have tunnel vision. Now, I tell our church sometimes, please don't take this the wrong way. I'm your pastor, and I love you, and I'm going to serve you as your pastor. But also, the Lord didn't just call us just to pastor those within the four walls. We have what the people outside of those four walls need. We know they need Jesus. We know that in a lot of cases. But there's some who have Jesus, but they also need some of the resources and some of the information and the services that they cannot readily get unless they have somebody that's advocating for them. And so I have, again, had the opportunity. My first board I was actually to sit on when I came to Washington was actually through the Beaufort County Department of Social Services. Lisa Woolard. Lisa Woolard, who was our Partnership for Children, Beaufort High Partnership for Children's executive director, invited me to a meeting one day, and it was called a community collaborative meeting. And I'll say to any pastor, if you really want to be involved in what's happening in your community, find out where the community collaborative, and that's just, that word collaborative is just a 10-cent word for a group of people who are agency leaders, either business owners or civil or government leaders in your community, who come together to look at the gaps in needs and services. What gaps are there? What areas need to be filled? Many times it has to do with if people getting enough food. Sometimes it has to do with affordable child care. It may have to do with literacy. What are the gaps of the needs and services in your community? And whenever you go to those community collaboratives or the community meetings with all those agencies sitting there, they talk about that. Another great resource I found that helped us was our the community health assessment we just did not long ago. From that health assessment, 5 things rose to the top. Of course, you have the health and wellness piece. You have food deserts and things of that nature. So you look at those areas and you see, okay, what disparages are happening, and how can people get the services that they need. And so for us, it was just going to that community collaborative, and from there, getting involved, getting our church involved, and helping to meet some of the needs in our community. Now, the various boards and committees, that's a lot. Somebody asked me one time, tell us what you do. I said to them, it would probably be easier for me to tell you what I don't do. Just in conversation, in that I pastor a church, love a wonderful group of people, love them to life, Cornerstone Family Worship Center, which wasn't that church when we came. It was actually West 9th Street. The Lord gave us a vision that if we did what He asked us to do within the community, within the church, then our church would be able to hold the people, and it didn't, and so we had to build. We built within 5 years after coming to Washington. Wow. To the location where we are now. Right there on 264 as you come into Washington. But the boards and the committees, BC 360 is probably one of our leading boards that I serve on. BC is Beaufort County. 360 is just the hash. It's just the brand. And that board, we meet with the health department, county government, city government. We meet with social services. I mean, there's the Partnership for Children's on that board. Our local attorney there, Evan Lewis, is on that board. We meet with just a variety of other agencies. And when I start calling names, I'm gonna miss somebody. I mean, the community colleges on there. We have a school system, and what that BC 360 does is it looks at those needs and gaps in services, and then from there, set up task force. Help the homeless shelter, which is one of the areas that we have been successful in providing there for the community. Mental health. Mental health task force. Just various task forces have come about because of BC 360, and so I'm honored to be able to serve on that board as what they call, and I love it, and that is I'm the faith piece to it. You have the county government, you have the businesses, you have the mental health, you have the hospital Vidant there. You have the health department there, but the faith community is the piece that I fit. Now, I cannot speak for our faith community because it's such a large faith. I don't have to tell you that. Faith community is a large community in our area, but just from those who I serve and those who I'm in contact with, it allows me the opportunity to be able to share with all those who are sitting around that table some of the needs of the same people that we all serve. They may not work at our location. They may attend our church. They may go to our school, but they're the same people. And so we provide services for those. That's one, BC 360. And then, of course, Department of Juvenile Justice. We meet and talk about the things that are affecting our youth. And right now, I got to tell you, we got some serious issues in our area, just like I know you do in your area with this situation with gang violence that's happening. And so Juvenile Justice is another board that we serve on. The Partnership for Children, both at our Partnership for Children's board. That's probably the longest board I've been on. That board, I've just kind of, I'm like, I guess, an old shoe. I hang around. I've been on the Partnership for Children's board now for Beaufort High Partnership for Children for almost 12 years.
Wow.
12 years. I love that board tremendously. Wonderful director, executive director in that, in Jessica Brenham. And so
Jessica.
Appreciate her, her and her staff, all that they're doing for our county. Let's see, other boards. Chamber of Commerce. How can I forget the Chamber of Commerce? I just saw the executive director just leave here. Honored to serve on that particular board. Well, we look at our commerce and what's happening. And of course, I don't have to tell you what's happening with this pandemic. How businesses having to close their doors and people are not getting the income that they need. You can't get the money. You can't buy the food. You can't buy the medicine. It's just a lot that's going on. So I'm happy to serve on the Chamber of Commerce boards. And that's just a few of the boards that I serve on there.
Well, Bishop, I know that you're going to miss some, so we're going to apologize in advance.
Yeah.
We didn't call you out. We apologize.
Please forgive me if I didn't call you out. Just know that I'm honored to serve along with you. I really am.
Yeah, we could get in trouble quick with that.
Yeah, it's like in church. You start calling people's names.
And you didn't call me.
You didn't call my name.
Well, what happened?
Yeah, wasn't intentional. I'm sorry.
I didn't see you a couple Sundays. What happened? But one of the things you said is also the key part is the collaboration. Collaboration is the BC 360, and that's something that you did, as being the faith leader. And I know that also that is like we all play a piece of the puzzle that needs to be there. We I come with my cross, you come with yours. That's who I represent. Right. We can't represent them all, no. But we come out there. But there was also things that you was a person that wasn't selfish. And there's some people that I'm just speaking out. I'm just talking out. They take it out on me. It's all right. I have no problem. Get a few more whoopings. You know what I'm saying? But there's sometimes folks. Sometimes they hold back of the resource and try to help other people with it. And you haven't done that. You actually shared with these pastors, and then also you pick groups of pastors together and work as a collaboration. And to me, that's a network. It is in the collaboration, which the same thing we do here with Pastor Eve and Reverend Hudak is a collab. It's called the Interfaith here. But what your guys do, you got a group of pastors and you share what God has given you.
Well, that's no man is an island. And if we're going to be effective and to be successful, then we have to collaborate. We have to reach outside of our doors, and we have to bring others in to help to do this. This is a very, very intense, major, large work that has to be done. And so you have to have people that you can bring around the table and invite them into it. I say it like this. Those people need to come around the table, have a voice in the conversation, and a hand in the action. So a seat at the table, a voice in the conversation, and a hand in the action. And so we have been afforded an opportunity to do that. It actually came through a grant from KB Reynolds Charitable Trust. That was probably one of our major grants. Several years ago, I was approached by the representative in this area about what we do with the community as a whole And I was asked if I could write a grant, if we could put it in a grant, some of the stuff that we're doing, and present it with possibilities of getting funded. I had no idea what that meant. I didn't, honestly. But Shirley Robinson, and I have to give kudos to Shirley. Shirley is my now community-based programs manager. Shirley was my executive, well, she was actually the executive assistant to me for about 17 years. Wow. She was my administrative assistant for 17 years. And so when we really looked at what we do as a community-wide service for our community, we looked at, okay, how can we now, it's in our church, it's a part of our church, it's a part of what we do, but it's also something different. And so we broke it off. It's really not broke off, it's still connected to our church, but we formed what we call now Cornerstone community-based programs. And Shirley is our executive director for that, does a wonderful job. She was already doing the work as my assistant, and so it was easy just to make her the manager at that particular time. And from that, we wrote this grant, and Shirley has probably been, not probably, but has been the catalyst for all of our grant writing. Both of us sit and we write the grants together. Sometimes, we write them at the office. Sometimes we write them at the kitchen table. Long hours writing grants. But we were blessed to be funded by KBR, KB Reynolds Charitable Trust, for an initiative that we call Healthy Clergy, Congregations, and Community. Cornerstone, BCH3C is what it's called. BC for Beaufort County. The H stands for the word healthy. Then the 3 C's: clergy, pastors first, because I don't have to tell you, Dr. Cole, we're notorious for being some of the most unhealthy people on
now,
the
it's
earth.
stubborn too now.
I'm just saying. And so healthy clergy. And then the congregation, which are the people that we serve. And then the community. And lo and behold, they funded that project. And our initial rollout, we probably had about 35 or 40 pastors who came alongside of us to work with the BCH3C. The group, for the last 3 years, with the exception of this year, we've been taking retreats for those of the pastors who were connected with us. All expense paid. Wow. Thankful through the grant because you wrote it in the grant. Pastors need sabbaticals. We need times of rest, times to get away. And so we built that into that particular grant because of the healthy clergy piece. We also talked about mental illness. We talked about physical health. We talked about eating right, exercise, all that had to do with BCH3C and what it meant to be healthy. And so that grant was a great blessing to our community. And from that, another initiative came up, and that initiative came up where we could help Beaufort County schools with the summer feeding program. And so we wrote a grant for that, which primarily had to do with just promoting and advertising the summer feeding program so the children would have food in the summer months, those 8 weeks during the summer. Well, wrote that grant. That grant hit. It was a blessing to us to be able to do that. And from that, we developed, which was a piece of the RFP, request for proposal, that we would have community hubs. We call them community hubs, but they're actually community sites. And we looked at the geographical location of Beaufort County, which is a vast area. And so several of the churches who are connected with our BCH3C initiative, they were in geographic locations around our county. They were committed to our program, what we were doing. They were faithful to the meetings. I mean, they've done a wonderful job. They've been with us since its inception. And so we looked at those several churches and pastors, and we asked that they would be a hub. And they did. They decided to do that. And so what we have done is that we have developed those hubs around the county, and I'll tell you who they are. The first one, alphabetical order, is in Aurora, North Carolina. Now, Aurora is a food desert. Aurora has a lot of stuff going on with it there. But the Fresh Anointing Church there, Bishop Charles Tyson, we do a lot with his church in that community. Right now, they're doing the COVID testing. Awesome. They also did the COVID vaccinations there at that particular place, at that church there in Aurora. And so that's one of our hubs. White Plains Church, which is one of the newer churches that we brought on, which is in Belle Haven. Dr. Douglas Cogdale, the pastor there. His church, they help with the distribution of the food for the summer feeding program. Wonderful group of people who have come alongside of us to help, again, provide services for Bellhaven. And then we have the Ware Creek area. Ware Creek Church, Missionary Baptist Church, I think what it's called. That's in the Blunts Creek area with Bishop Charles Smith. Bishop Smith done a wonderful job. Now, I got to tell you, you have to be going to his church to get there, because if you just don't just run up on it. It's kind of off the beaten path. But there's a community out there, a group of wonderful people that the service has been provided for, that without that church being there, they probably couldn't get the services that they need. And so I appreciate Bishop Smith for what he's doing. And then, of course, Temple of Joy right there in Chakawinity. Apostle Georgette Redmond. Apostle Redmond has been a champion for all of our programs, been with me since the inception of our BCH3C, and even before then. A wonderful woman of God. Her church sits right off 33 there in Chakawinity, geographically located, as people can pass it going back and forth to Aurora, back and forth to Chakawinity. Her church is one of our hubs. A wonderful job. And then, of course, a new church right there in a small town called Pantego.
Oh, yeah, I know about Pantego.
Pantego. And that is Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Raleigh and Loretta Younger, a great community active. They left this community like many do, and go up north and work, but then they retire, they come back, and they get involved in the community. And Raleigh and Loretta has done that. They've done a wonderful job with our community hub there in Pantego. And then Pastor Johnny's Carroll. Pastor Carroll is our hub, one of our hubs in Washington. Washington's town's a little bit larger than what the other areas are, and so we have two there. And Pastor Johnny's Carroll at BB Chapel there off Cherry Run Road in Washington is our other hub. And then finally, we are the home. We're the home. Cornerstone's the home. And so through that grant that KBR has allowed us to be able to serve with the summer feeding program, we also partner with the health department, Eat Smart, Move More, Faith for Families program, Biden Hospital, Jennifer Lewis, who helps us tremendously as the coordinator with the faith community from Biden Hospital. She goes around to the churches. She provides information and resources to the faith community, and we help push that out to the faith community from Biden Hospital. Pam Schrader, wonderful people at the hospital who helped us tremendously with getting the word out to the citizens there in Beaufort County. And then, of course, I'd be remiss not to mention Jim Madden, James Madsen. I have to say his name, Madsen. Jim, which we call Jim, is our health director. I mean, Jim is a great support to our community. Him and Janelle. Janelle's last name, I think, is, I'm going to mess her name up, and so Janelle, please forgive me for this. But it used to be Lewis, but she got married, and I want to say Orcusford, but I know that's probably wrong, so Janelle, please charge it to my head and not my heart. But a wonderful group of people at the health department helps us tremendously for what we do. And so we have merged the faith community to a lot of the agencies in Washington, Beaufort County to provide the services for the families there that probably would not have an opportunity to receive it without it.
Bishop, listen, we need like 2 shows with you, man.
I'm just sorry, man.
You have. First, I thank God for you. I believe my role is resource connection. And I work with pastors and bishops and all around different areas, like Apostle Quick out there in Spartanburg, South Carolina, good friend and brother of mine as well, and they do. But you really have that spirit as moving God's people, and I thank you for that, because not everybody would share that. And I think one of the things, and I should share this here, yet that gift that God already gave you, I think sometimes people try to follow what you're doing, and they wasn't called for.
Right.
We got to understand, we got to stay in our lane. And I think that if someone looking to try to do what you're doing, I think they out of their lane. I think they need to follow. Sometimes God don't let us be the singer. Sometimes we, let Gladys do the singing. We could be the pimp. You know what I'm saying? And we stay in our lane. But I tell you, we're already out of time, because, you have a whole lot. Just for let's about 30 seconds. If somebody need to get in contact with you or being more involved, if I'm a church, I'm in that area, I'd like to see what we need to do just in some of the resources. How would they be able to get in contact with you?
Well, they can call us at my office there. That office number is 252-946-6109. 252-946-6109. That's our office number there at Cornerstone. I'm there most of the time when I'm not in meetings. Or they can reach out to us at our website, and that is ccbps.org. CC, that's Cornerstone Community Based Programs.org. That's our website.
I thank you. Our time is up. Again, I thank you for Bishop being here and sharing a resource. Reach out to a true man of God. I'm honored to be sitting with him, to be in this studio and the things he's doing. I thank you, God, for making that connection in Jesus' name. God bless, and we see you at the next broadcast.